The Kremlin is voicing strong disapproval over a U.S. decision to redirect funds seized from Russian business magnates. These funds, once held by Russian individuals now under U.S. sanctions, are scheduled to be given to Ukraine. Dmitry Peskov, the Kremlin spokesperson, openly criticized the move on Thursday, citing its infringement on both international and national legal standards. The U.S.'s intentions became evident when Secretary of State Antony Blinken, during his Kyiv tour, announced the planned transfer of $5.4 million to Ukraine. This hefty sum originates from assets held by sanctioned Russian oligarchs. Significantly, these redirected funds have been earmarked to bolster support for Ukrainian military veterans. Peskov expressed his disbelief, stating the move contrasts with fundamental legal principles recognized globally. He firmly reiterated Russia's intent to champion its rights once a suitable opportunity arises. Further elaborating on Moscow's stance, Peskov disclosed that some Russian business leaders have already sought and achieved legal victories in European courts against similar asset transfers. The Kremlin is unwavering in its commitment, ensuring that no such illicit asset retention escapes its notice, added Peskov. Historically, international sanctions and the resulting seizures of assets have led to protracted legal disputes, with nations often challenging the legitimacy of the sanctions. This recent move is indicative of the escalating tensions between Russia and the U.S., particularly regarding Ukraine. Ukraine has been grappling with challenges in its eastern regions, primarily due to separatist movements allegedly supported by Russia. The U.S.'s gesture signifies its staunch support for Ukraine, which goes beyond financial assistance. The U.S. has been an active partner, providing both military aid and training to Ukrainian forces. The history of U.S.-Russia relations showcases previous sanctions imposed on Russia for various reasons, including alleged election meddling and cyber threats. Sanctions, when applied, can lead to a range of economic challenges for the targeted country. For Russia, these sanctions have impacted foreign investment, limited access to international finance, and introduced tech-related barriers. Russian oligarchs, who are often seen as influential figures in Russian politics, have been subjected to international restrictions like travel bans and asset freezes. The redirection of funds might further strain diplomatic relations, affecting discussions on global matters like arms control or climate change. As this issue gains traction, the global community is keenly observing the potential impacts on trade and international law. Legal professionals are now expecting a rise in cases that might question the legality of these asset transfers. Numerous law firms with expertise in international law are strategizing their responses in anticipation of legal proceedings. European courts, recognized for their strict legal interpretations, will likely be central in deciding the fate of many of these cases. Ukraine has expressed gratitude towards the U.S. decision, interpreting it as a significant gesture of support. The Ukrainian president, in an official announcement, commended international allies and voiced optimism for conflict resolutions. Financial analysts highlight that the redirected funds, while substantial, are just a small portion of the total assets that Russian oligarchs have overseas. This decision could influence international banking practices, prompting them to reassess their risk profiles concerning sanctioned individuals. Amid these geopolitical maneuvers, the ongoing event brings to the forefront issues surrounding national rights and global interventions. As nations navigate these complex scenarios, questions about international boundaries and sovereignty emerge. Some experts believe that Russia might respond with its own set of actions, potentially targeting entities connected to the U.S. These actions could vary from trade restrictions to diplomatic rebukes, adding another layer to the ongoing tensions. Observers around the world are keenly watching Russia's potential countermeasures, recognizing the widespread implications they might have on global diplomacy. Since the annexation of Crimea in 2014, Russia has faced a series of escalating sanctions from both the U.S. and the European Union, which have had varying degrees of impact on its economy and international relationships. In 2019, the U.S. Department of State reported that American direct investment in Ukraine totaled approximately $823 million, underscoring the economic ties and vested interests the two nations had. As well as major Russian energy firms, such as Gazprom and Rosneft, have been under scrutiny following sanctions, affecting their ability to engage in international projects and partnerships. Russian banks, once heavily integrated into the global financial system, have faced limitations due to U.S. sanctions also, impacting their international operations. I would appreciate it if you hit the like button and subscribe.